Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Israel Brief with me, Rolene Marks, brought to you by Lay of the Land. It's that time of the day where we take a look at those top stories making headlines in Israel and the surrounds. So let's take a look at those top stories dominating our news waves. And we begin with the announcement by the Speaker of Knesset, Yariv Levin, who announced earlier today that on Sunday, the swearing-in session of the new unity government will take place in the Knesset. Now, this gives the Netanyahu bloc at least 48 hours to scrutinize, to really examine some of the proposals as part of the new government and criticize or object to anything in those proposals. So let's take a look at some of the information that we know. We know that there will be a significant amount of funding given to the Arab community. There will also be a big investment in building in Jerusalem. We also know that prevention will be put in place to stop Naftali Bennett from leaving the coalition, and also another clause will be implemented to stop any unilateral decisions or action that would possibly harm the peace process. This will also include the drafting of Haredim to the IDF, something that we know Yair Lapid has used it as part of his campaign since he founded the Yesh Atid party. Electoral reforms will also be included, and I know many of us are heaving a sigh of relief. We don't know what those reforms include just yet, but many have called for the electoral process to be reformed following the cycle of seeming never-ending elections. And another significant development will be the setting of an egalitarian prayer section at the Wailing Wall or at the Kotel Plaza. This is a move that will hopefully bridge divides between Israel and American Jewry, and is a policy that was frozen by the Netanyahu government, which has led to a lot of tension between American Jewry and the state of Israel. So let's see how we go for the next 48 hours, but we do have it confirmed that the swearing-in session will go ahead. The other question we are asking ourselves is, will the flag parade go ahead? Now, yesterday, Israeli police were rumored to have announced that they have not given permission for marchers to march with their flags on Thursday. They have subsequently denied it. Now, later today, a very high-level security cabinet meeting will take place in Jerusalem around about 5:30 Israeli time, and Benny Gantz, our defense minister, has insisted he be a part of that. Some of the areas to be discussed is maybe rerouting the march. Yesterday, Hamas gave their opinions, celebrating the fact that they heard it had been cancelled. However, there are many who say that Israel capitulated to terrorists by cancelling the march. So we understand that this is potentially provocative, that it's a tinderbox, but there are two sides that have to be almost placated, two sides with very, very strong opinions. So we will be watching the meeting with a lot of interest to see what kind of conclusion they come to. And our last story of the day takes us to social media because, hey, what would a week with the Israel Brief be without a comment on social media? And Bella Hadid, the supermodel with 45 million followers, has done us a solid. In her attempt to rewrite history, the history of the presence of Jews in the region and especially in the area that we call the State of Israel, Bella has shared a picture of the Maccabi Tel Aviv soccer team playing in 1939 as Palestine, because back then the area was still British Mandate Palestine. This was before the area was split and half offered to the Arabs, which they refused, and the other half offered to the Jews, which we accepted and now have as a state of Israel. Bella shared the picture saying, so cool. Well, Bella, we think it's cool as well. We think it's absolutely fantastic that you shared a picture of our soccer team with a Magen David, that is a shield of David or Star of David, on their sweatshirts with Hebrew writing that said Eretz Israel, the land of Israel. And while we don't know who won the game in 1939, or maybe if you do, please put it in the comment section below. We do know that Bella Hadid scored an epic own goal. But all jokes aside, what this does bring up is the trend now to try and rewrite history. Only, Bella, if you're going to rewrite history, you may want to make sure that Hebrew writing and references to Israel and a big giant Magen David is not on the sweatshirt. Just say, super awkward for Bella. But anyway, those are your top stories making headlines today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow, and do all those wonderful things. You can do them on our Facebook page at Lartle Site. You can do it on our website at www.layoftheland.online, on our YouTube channel at The Israel Brief, and of course on Twitter, which is where everything happens, at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks. This is The Israel Brief, and we'll bring you more top stories tomorrow.